Everybody, Ryan Melville with Arizona Short Sale TV. We got Coach rolling into the shot here. We're coming at you today to talk a little bit about something that comes up quite a bit in our industry. We're talking to you, the homeowner, about corner cutters.
Wow.
In the real estate industry.
Guys, everybody out there that knows us, if you watch our videos on a regular basis or if you go back in the library and check things out, you know we're about empowerment for the consumer.
Yeah.
It's very important for us to give you information that empowers you and informs you and gives you more better information than what the rest of the streets have.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just big on that. It pushes out fear and helps you make better decisions. So that being the case, we've identified this thing called corner cutting that we've just kind of labeled it.
Yeah.
And it's what we see in both buyer's agents
and
listing agents in the distressed property market.
And not even just in the agency standpoint in real estate. I mean, there can be corner cutters in all aspects of the industry.
Oh yeah.
Going from lenders, the title. I mean, that's why choosing our vendors is very, very important through this process.
Very much so.
I mean, we're not out just, we don't want corner cutters on our team.
Not at all.
Because we're not corner cutters.
At any level.
No, we're not corner cutters.
In fact, we shared a video with everybody last week and in fact, maybe it was yesterday or even today, on technology videos and what we bring to the table as far as not cutting corners. Because we want to make sure that everybody understands we got a tight process.
Oh yeah. So
from a listing standpoint, if a listing agent was involved in something, what's one of those biggest corner cutting areas that a consumer can look for?
From the consumer standpoint, I mean, I'm talking about more of how the systems.
Okay.
Because in order to close a short sale, in order to successfully close a good number of short sales, you have to have systems in place.
Right.
You can't just willy-nilly take listings and go through, talk to the lender a few times, write it down on a scratch piece of paper, file it in some sort of file that you're never going to see again.
Right, or the back of your car.
Or the back of your car. And then when it blows up, and you go to find your notes, and
you go, well, I've talked to that person maybe once in the last 60 years.
And they happen to drag you into court, or you end up fighting a court case, and you're fumbling around with a piece of paper that had chicken scratch on them, and that doesn't make sense. So what do we do? How do we get around that?
Well, we get around it by simply having the systems in place and managing everything online. What it does for the consumer is that it allows us a communication tool to the consumer on like a bi-weekly basis that keeps them abreast of the process, as well as lets them know that we've got all our P's and Q's and I's and T's crossed, dotted, and checked and everything else, and it gives them peace of mind.
Definitely.
Now, on the other end, let's talk about the listing agent that cuts corners on marketing and what that looks like. And you say, well, cuts corners on marketing, it's not so much for marketing. They're cutting corners on the short sale because they really have no intention sometimes to close the short sale.
They're looking for a sign in the yard.
They're looking for a sign in the yard. Now, why would somebody do that? What benefit does it have to a listing agent to have a sign in the yard?
To capture buyers.
To capture buyers.
To capture buyer phone calls. And a lot of agents out there are just in the business. There's a lot of listings out there you'll see, especially on ours. I mean, we're in the business also to capture buyers. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong here.
But that's one of several aspects.
One of several aspects. But we use a call capture system to where a potential homeowner will drive by the house, call a local 602 number, punch in the house number, and it will read them back the description of the house.
Right.
What does that do for us, though? I mean, that gives the homeowner or the potential homeowner information about the house.
Right.
But
in a non-intrusive fashion.
Non-intrusive 24/7. Exactly. They can write the number down, go home and do it when they get home.
What it does for us as a marketing team that's promoting selling our listing to somebody is it captures a buyer's information, phone number, so that we can return their phone call and engage them.
In both two forms, a text message instantly.
Yep.
As soon as they punch that number in and it starts recording the information, give them the recorded information, my phone goes off.
Even if they hang up?
Even if they hang up. And we get an email. And email, it comes in as fast, but as you know, text messaging is as close to instant as we can almost get.
Right.
So we use a text message, and then based on the home, we can call the person who drove by the house, call them back, answer any questions, and basically try to convert them into a buyer to come into the office, go through a buyer consultation, because we do believe in the full-blown buyer consultation.
Absolutely.
And see if we can help answer any questions on your house because they're calling because they do have interest on the house. Now, a lot of times we're running into neighbors and people looking for rentals because we don't advertise if it's a rental or for sale. It's just it's out there, it's being marketed. So we weed through them and we get the qualified buyers.
Yep.
And we bring them back to show them the property.
And you guys are probably hearing that and going, wow, that's cool. That means if 10 people call on my property, you've got 10 more buyers to talk to about selling my property. Yes and no. It seems like that on the surface, but we already know that nothing's ever what it seems. So this is where other agents can corner cut, and this is what to be aware of. Just because somebody's capturing buyers that call on your property doesn't mean they're ever going to actually talk about your property. And most of the time, honestly, they don't write offers on that property unless it was just exactly the home they had to have. So what we found is that most of those buyers turn out to be buyers for other properties 3 to 6 months down the road, or maybe 30 days down the road on something else. But seldom do they actually buy the property they called on.
It's happened.
It's just it's happened. It's just seldom. So what we want to expose you guys to is the fact that you need a listing team that's not only committed to creating buyers for the other part of their team, but they're committed to the short sale at such levels it's hard to explain. So that's what you want to look for, and that's what we're promoting here, is that we got that for you guys.
It's something that really gets me going when I see on the MLS.
Get wound up, baby.
I'm gonna get wound up. I'm gonna loosen up here. But what I don't like is when the pictures, they suck. They're terrible
Pictures of the house.
Of the house. They don't take original pictures. Sometimes they'll, which is against our policy on the MLS, they'll copy previous listings that are not theirs or another real estate agent's, but
cutting corners.
Right click, save the picture, upload to the MLS, you're done.
Never saw your property.
And another thing is when the agent doesn't put the right home description in the MLS, meaning doesn't have the right type of pool, doesn't have a jacuzzi. I mean, going through and making sure each feature in the home is logged onto the MLS, because nowadays people searching on the internet on these websites, you can put in your own search criteria. So let's say I'm in a golf course community. My home is out here in Seville, out in Gilbert.
Right.
But my agent decides to leave out golf course subdivision off the plan, which is not required. They have to go not out of their way, but they have to physically check the box that I'm in a golf course subdivision. I'll never show up on that search when a client is looking for a golf course home. I'll never show up on that search. So that is huge. It takes 5-10 minutes, maybe 15, to go through the house with the homeowner and do a checklist on what the home includes, what is not conveying. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Put that in the plano. If they want to keep that, they want to keep the chandelier hanging over the dining room table.
Or if they've got an old dishwasher out in the garage, they upgraded and they want to take the old one with them, that type of thing. They need to do that up front and let us know, and then we need to be clear about communicating that in the listing, and a lot of agents don't do that.
Definitely.
Now you guys are probably going, well, why the heck is all this important? Are you kidding me? It's important because when your property goes on the MLS and it goes a period of time without being looked at and you're missed in those searches, it goes into a black hole. I don't know why it does, but it goes into a black hole. You just never get back on people's radars.
Yep.
And buyers are starting to become more and more scarce compared to where they were 3, 4, 5 months ago. And so we've got to be proactive in capturing and marketing all the pertinent information to every single potential buyer.
Yep. Another thing that I'm seeing quite a bit, because we, on another side of the business, we deal with the trustee sale, acquiring properties that go to auction. And you don't know how many of them are active on the MLS.
When you're buying them at trustee sale.
We're buying them at trustee sale. Wow. And a lot of times, listing agent has no idea. We'll call them for information on the house to see if we can get a feedback on condition, if it's vacant or occupied. I mean, we'll call the listing agent to feel them out, of course. I mean, but they don't even know that that's going auction. Wow. We're the first one to tell them that.
Wow.
I'm like, you
so they're like, oh, we thought.
So now they have literally an hour to scramble to try to find an offer to get it postponed, which it's not going to happen.
Right.
I'm just talking, I'm just making funny jokes here, but basically that's what happens. I call them an hour before the auction, and it's great, not great, but it's crazy to hear dead silence when I tell them that, hey, I'm calling about a house that's going to auction today. You have listed. It's on the MLS. I mean, I'll have 5-10 seconds of silence.
Yeah, and if that's happening, and you're a part of that transaction, that's just an obvious sign to us of corner cutters. It means that your agent's bad systems. They've not been communicating to the homeowner anyways. Why would you even list with a person like that? That's my question.
I don't know. Go back and take a look, and it's probably up here, the technology video, and look at the Wise Agent component of our business.
Right.
And you'll see how it's not going to happen to us. Because on our home screen, it'll flag it in red if there's a trustee sale date.
Oh yeah, we'll see trustee sale dates come in a month out.
A month out, yeah. So we have the ability to go in and start working on the postponement if needed, or figure out what needs to happen.
30 days in advance most of the time.
And what is that? It's an investment of $25 a month that we pay for Wise Agent. Right. And what is? I mean, that's just
such a
total leverage. Total leverage.
Yeah.
So
and it's part of our communication tool as well to the client.
Yeah.
That helps them stay abreast of the process.
Yep.
Powerful. I'll let you wrap it up, buddy. See y'all.
All right. So thanks everybody. We're talking about corner cutters and just throwing it out there. We're in the business to do everything right. I mean, we're here to help you guys, and we're just gonna leave it here. We don't cut corners. We do everything correct. And reach out to us if you have any questions or any concerns. Reach out and we'll hit you back. Thanks, guys.